All right, Hex, I've got me a hankering for some cupcakes. All right, here I go. Oh, Hex, I feel something. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of it.
Oh, go for it, Bajo.
All right, here we go. Celery.
Oh, that's fine, Bajo. I mean, celery's pretty good. Bit of peanut butter and it's quite crunchy.
I like celery, but my expectations were cupcakes. Hello and welcome to Good Game Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Bajo.
And I'm Hex.
And I am D.A.R.R.E.N.
Coming up on the show, the high-octane thrills and spills of TrackMania Turbo.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Get your motor running
Vroom, 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 vroom,
on
vroom.
the highway.
Oh, so much fun.
But we're also going to find out what happens when you put an orangutan in front of an Xbox Connect.
This is totally how Planet of the Apes began.
Well, we should train up your brains so you stay ahead of the curve, Bajo. Thinking caps on, Spawnlings. It's time for D.A.R.R.E.N's Challenge! Today, I'm asking you this. Can you name all 4 Force Awakens characters that you can play in Disney Infinity 3.0? Answer at the end of the show.
All right, well, I bet Goose has some gaming picks for us. Hey, Goose.
Hi guys, I sure do.
Goose, have you been eating your vegetables?
Actually, Darren, I tried to, but somehow it all ended up on the floor. It was quite weird.
You should probably just go back to cupcakes, Goose.
Yeah, cupcakes are delicious.
Yeah, I think that's a better idea. All right, guys, here are my picks for this week. First up, Microsoft has revealed that they're opening up Minecraft for artificial intelligences to play. Yes, a free plugin is letting programmers unleash their AI creations into the blocky world to roam and to learn. The hope is that this could help young people learn how to code AI. And potentially, such AI could become companions to real players and help us build and explore. Huh, who needs friends when you've got artificial intelligence? And it seems like the end may be nigh for the Wii U. Oh. The Japanese newspaper Nikkei has reported that Nintendo will be stopping production of Wii U hardware as soon as this year. The decision is apparently due partly to the console's low sales and also to open up manufacturing capacity for their upcoming NX console. However, Nintendo has not yet confirmed the news. And finally, in my pick of the week from you Spawnlings, King and Nuke sent in this souped-up wheelie build of an Abarth 595 from Forza 6. Sick wheelie and cool paint job. Well, those are my picks for this week. Remember, if you have something, you can send it in here. But until then, back to you guys in the studio.
All aboard! The train on platform 1 is about to depart.
Toot toot! Careful, Darren.
Oh, no.
Careful. Oh, the humanity! Train Conductor World is the latest game from Aussie developers The Voxel Agents. It's your job to connect the cities of Europe by collecting bits of train track. You win new track pieces by completing challenges in the different cities that you've unlocked.
In the challenges, you have to move different coloured trains onto their right track by dragging your finger. Things get hectic fast, but they're heaps of fun, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a mechanic that's simple to learn, fun to play, but tricky to master. It looks and sounds great too, and I especially liked the crashes.
Me too. Each time you win a challenge, you collect coins and stars. You use these to unlock boxes that contain new pieces of track, which you can then place on your map to connect and unlock new cities. Oh, Darren, quit it!
We interrupt this service with an important announcement. This game contains in-app purchases.
Yes, it does, Darren. It is a free-to-play game, but the developers have gone for a microtransaction model.
Yes, and it's really heavy-handed in this game though, isn't it?
Absolutely. I was determined to play for free, and it took me hours to get the right bits of track to connect Paris into my network, which means I had to play the same challenges in the same cities over and over again. And then some parts of the map required iron track, which was very rare. Of course, I could buy as much track as I wanted with real money, but I just didn't want to. It didn't feel fair.
Yeah, and some of the challenges get quite tough. If you crash your trains, you can continue, but only if you watch an ad for another game. But you can pay to get rid of the ads, of course.
It's such a dilemma for game makers, isn't it? Because as gamers, we love to play games for free, but the developers need to make money from it as well, because making games is very expensive.
Yeah, it definitely is, but I have seen other games deal with microtransactions much better than in Conductor World. So while I did enjoy playing this game, I really didn't enjoy that side of it, so I'm giving it 2 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's not a very good payment model, is it? I would have rather just paid for this game up front and play as much as I want, because it is really fun, but that constant asking for money really tainted the whole experience for me, so I'm giving it 2 rubber chickens as well.
Oh, okay, thanks, Darren. Oh, Bajo, have you ever wanted to play video games with your cats?
Only all the time, Hex.
Yeah, well, down at Melbourne Zoo, the orangutans have taken up gaming.
Roll the tape, Lee!
Some serious monkey business.
Well, these are very, very smart animals, easily the smartest animal that we keep here at the zoo. When we have them in captivity, we give them everything that they need to survive, but what we also need to give them is things to do, to occupy those large brains.
I've been doing research for a while on application areas for the Microsoft Kinect. We found out through some mutual friends that the orangutan zookeepers were using tablets as a form of enrichment for the orangutans. And well, we got in contact and we had the opportunity to see that in action.
The orangs are notoriously destructive animals, so if we gave them a tablet, they'd probably just break it in half. So what we do is we used to offer it them through the wire, but they had a limited way of engaging with that tablet because it's their fingers through the wire onto the tablet itself.
So we could see straight away that the orangutans, they understood the technology, they knew how to interact. Some of the games needed you to tap, a xylophone to make music, but other ones, might be painting, so they were rolling their finger across the screen. But we could also see that they weren't able to interact the way that they wanted to. We realized this was a great opportunity for the Kinect because we could use the technology that we've been working with, which is creating touch-enabled projections, to basically create an interactive space for these guys in their enclosure. So one of the exciting things that we saw straight away was that some of the orangutans, they didn't necessarily want to interact with their hands. They wanted to interact with their face or maybe with objects. So there was a great moment when Marlu decided to start hanging from the ceiling and hitting these exploding dots with a blanket. And so now we're trying to design games that afford interacting with objects rather than interacting with touch. We've also seen straight away that they're really interested in the people that are around the technology. So one of the things that we were really excited to try and seemed to go really well the first time we did it was we gave Marlu the opportunity to play a cooperative game with a person. So when he touched the red shape and the person touches the same red shape at the same time, a beam of light connects them. And we think that there's really interesting opportunities there, not just for improving their welfare, but for giving people really unique experiences and connecting them and making them realize how smart these orangutans really are.
When we used the painting program for the first time with Gabby over my shoulder here, it's the first time in a long time I've seen the gears in her brain grinding around and she made heads or tails of what was going on. And they started painting on the electronic canvas that we gave them. And then they tried to wipe the paint off the back of their hands because that's what they thought was going on. So I was really curious to see the connections they make with things that they've had historically and the difference between what we're offering them now.
Looking at the way these guys behaved isn't really that different. And that's what's amazing, is a lot of people don't realize how smart they are. And really designing for orangutans isn't that different. You just can't rely on words and you can't assume anything. The challenges that they can do will really amaze you. And we're really excited about putting that on display.
So I think the beauty about having this system up and running is that there are so many opportunities for us to develop different aspects of this interface, because that's what it is, it's an interface. So these animals could be using the technology to control their environment, to turn lights on and off, maybe even play music, do some way of interacting with the public.
Maybe you can be the challenge for him. You can be a shape that he has to chase, or you've got to try and beat him in a puzzle.
We could even have orangs interacting with other orangs at another zoo, which would be fantastic as well.
And it's not just the orangutans that we can design this technology for. I see on YouTube all the time cats playing on iPad games. And you know what? Lions aren't that different from cats. So the opportunities for technology in the zoo, quite widely, are really going to connect us. Technology is going to change the way we live our lives. It's not just for us, but for the orangutans too. So to all the spawnies out there who might want to do something like this one day, learn how to code, learn how to program, and one day you might get to develop video games for orangutans too.
Well, Hex, I think it's just a matter of time before the apes take over the Earth.
I'm excited.
Worry about that later. You're needed at the Our Spawn Point desk. And besides, it's the robots that are taking over.
Okay, let's kick things off this week with Cheese Sandwich Lord, who is in Sydney, New South Wales. Calm down, Bajo.
My lord.
Hi, good game. I have 2 questions. 1. In Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, what happens when you collect all the golden gnomes? 2. Why is Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 rated PG and Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 1 rated M? If you don't answer this question, I will remove Cheese Sandwich from existence. P.S. Hex, do these.
No, don't remove all the cheese sandwiches from existence. Not again, Hex. Answer the question.
Calm down, Bajo. It's going to be fine. Well, Cheese Sandwich Lord, we haven't collected all of the gnomes ourselves, but we've heard that when you do get them all, you unlock an achievement or a trophy.
And best of all, you'll get access to a special room which has chests full of sweet loot.
As for why one game was rated PG and the other rated M, well, the classification board found the first game featured violence that had a moderate impact, giving it an M rating, whereas they found the second had violence that had a mild impact, so it got a PG rating.
It might seem a bit odd since I think looking at both games, the level of violence seems about the same, but classification isn't an exact science. It's based on a number of factors, and sometimes they change as time goes on. Maybe something that was considered moderate a few years ago may seem more mild by today's standards.
Yeah, or maybe it just came down to the people responsible for assigning the classifications had differing opinions on what mild is and what moderate is.
Yeah, we saw a similar thing with the Portal games. The first was rated M, but the second was PG, even though the type of content seemed more or less the same from what I could see.
But we are not trained classifiers, so we can really only speculate about why those games got the ratings they did. Oh, while we're on the topic of ratings, we also got this one from Monster Dragon 2016, who is in Adelaide in Western Australia?
Hang on a sec, Hex. Yeah, Adelaide's not in Western Australia. Oh, must be Perth, Adelaide, which is in French Australia.
Adelaide in French Australia?
Yeah.
Oh.
How old do you have to be to play M-rated games? My mum said you have to be at least 10 years old. But what do you guys think? P.S. Darren is a noob. 2016 out. Well, Monster Dragon 2016, the M rating is what's known as an advisory rating. So there's no hard and fast rule about how old you need to be, it's just advice.
But as a guideline, the Classifications Board does recommend that M games aren't suitable for children under 15 years of age.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's illegal to buy or play those games if you're under 15. It's just advice for your parents or guardian to decide whether it's suitable for you.
Yeah, so Monster Dragon 2016, if your mum says that you need to be at least 10, then that's how old you need to be.
Indeed. Like we saw before, not all M games are the same. Some are more intense while others can almost be on par with a PG game. So we always recommend educating yourself and your grown-ups about what it is that you're playing.
So if there is a game that you're interested in but it's been given an M rating, then ask your grown-ups politely to have a look at a trailer or some videos of the game and let them make a decision based on that. But let's move on to this one now from the King of Burgers, who is in Perth, Western Australia. Hi, good game. I'm struggling to find a good Clash of Clans attack strategy for Town Hall 6 or 7. I've tried your Barbarians and Archers strategy, but the mortar kills them. Please answer. P.S. Darren, say this.
IAMASUPERGENIUS.
Well, I don't think that was right. Hex and Bajo, you guys are legends! Well, King of Burgers, That strategy wasn't meant to help you win any battles. It's simply a cheap and quick way to attack bases with easily exposed resources to get fat loots easily.
But if you want to actually win battles, then there's a few other armies we'd recommend trying. One we'd suggest is if you make about half your army barbs and archers, and the rest mostly giants with a few healers and some wall breakers thrown in for good measure.
Yeah, then just set down the giants first, and then put the healers, and then put your barbs and archers and wall breakers down to wreak havoc while your giants soak up the damage and take out their defenses.
Other than that, if you want a pretty much guaranteed win, then a full dragon attack is hard to beat. Just fill your barracks with dragons and bring along 3 lightning spells as well.
Yeah, then drop the 3 lightning spells on one of their air defenses to take it out, then just deploy your dragons in a wave near to the other air Ds to quickly overwhelm them. And preferably try and find bases with exposed air defenses rather than ones where they're buried deep in the base.
It is a super expensive army to train though, so you're probably going to be spending more elixir than you'll earn from your raid. But you will win!
Alright, well good luck raiding. Let's move on to this one now from Pip, the anime queen, who is in SAO, Victoria.
Dear Good Game, can you please tell me about the Sword Art Online virtual reality game that's coming out, since I'm a big fan of the anime I really want to get, and which virtual reality console should I get for it, please? Sir? Or all of French Perth shall turn into bacon. Queen out. I do like bacon. Well, to be honest, I actually don't know a lot about this one, but I'm sure little old mate robot Darren can help us out. Let's get him on the phone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How can I help?
Well, a spawnling here was asking about the Sword Art Online virtual reality game that Goose reported on a while back. Darren, do you know when it's coming out or have any information on it?
Oh, well, I'm afraid to say spawnlings shouldn't get their hopes up too much for that. It appears that game is in fact little more than a 20-minute demo that a select few got to play. It was actually just a marketing stunt and is not a real game in development.
Wait, so they're not making a Sword Art Online VR game?
Well, someone might be, but that game that Goose reported on is not going to be released. The creators of it at IBM have confirmed that it is not being developed into a full game.
So there's no VR headset the spawnlings could get to play it on?
Negative. Also, it's worth mentioning that almost all VR headsets are not recommended for children to use. Most manufacturers say that children under 13 years of age should not use virtual reality headsets as it may affect the development of their eyes, and also it may not fit well on their heads. Not to mention they're very expensive, and besides, they tend to give me motion sickness.
Well, so does that mean we can't review virtual reality games here on Spawn Point?
We'll just have to wait and see if there are any VR games suitable for spawnlings.
Yeah, alright, well I guess we will have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's a good point. But anyway, thanks for your help, Darren.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye, Darren.
Well, on that note, we're actually out of time for this week, but if you'd like to ask us a question, then you can go here and send it in.
Shall we go back to Studio Hex?
Yeah, let's do it. We can make our own virtual reality space. Like cheese sandwiches with our imagination, Bajo. Alright guys, it's time once again to accelerate to the top of the leaderboards in TrackMania Turbo.
Vroom, vroom, vroom!
Such an intense racing game. And you know, there have been a lot of TrackMania games, but the formula still works, doesn't it?
Vroom, vroom, vroom!
Yeah, and this feels like the most polished one yet.
Vroom, vroom, vroom. TrackMania is essentially a time attack racing game where you compete to record the fastest lap time possible across a series of elaborate courses. It's super easy to crash, but a restart is only a quick button press away.
That's right, Darren. And when a game makes it this easy to quickly reset on the track or restart your race, the high difficulty never gets too frustrating, because it's so easy just to have one more go.
Yeah, and it does get really hard, doesn't it? The cars are so fast and the tracks are full of twists and turns, booster pads and jumps, and deviously placed obstacles.
And it's so easy just to stack it right before the finish line, and usually when you're about to post a new record time.
In the the game's solo campaign, you can set a ghost car to race the track with you so you know how you compare to the best time. You need to acquire a certain number of medals to unlock the next tier of racing events.
Yeah, I must have played at least some tracks a dozen times or more, just to snatch at least a silver medal. I don't know how to get gold on some of these. I mean, you must really have to get into the zone. So much concentration.
Yeah, I agree, Hex. And I guess it's just practicing over and over again until you get those tracks right. Perfecting the corners and drifts so you can shave off those microseconds. But when you nail it, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, I think my favorite addition to Turbo is the magnetic surface on those roller coaster circuits. You get flung totally sideways, defying gravity as you try to remember which way is up.
Defying gravity.
Don't you do it, Darren. Don't you rubber spew on my new shoes.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
You sure?
I'm fine.
Okay, well, these roller coaster tracks.
My shoes! My shoes after my foot!
How is that this much vomit, Darren? Where's it coming from? All right, let's move on to car customization, shall we?
Yeah. There are a variety of paint jobs you can apply to your cars, but you do need to unlock these as you play. It's a nice reward for doing well.
I feel much better now.
I'm glad you feel better, Darren. I feel gooey. TrackMania is all about the multiplayer and going online and trying to beat your friends' times. Sadly, the multiplayer wasn't live for us at the time of review, but I can tell that some of these tracks are going to be super popular.
Yeah, and we can always give the Spawnlings an update in the multiplayer after we've played online for a bit. Hopefully it feels as slick as the rest of the game because I love the arcade-style presentation.
It's great, isn't it? From the commentator
What are you doing? What's the P-word door?
to the way there are those helpful hints up on the big flashy billboards. And I don't think I'll ever tire of starting a race by being dropped from a helicopter. Look out below!
We should also mention the game has a thorough track editor and a new co-op mode called Double Driver. This allows two players to control the same car at the same time. If you don't sync up your inputs, your car will be all over the place.
Yeah, that is seriously challenging, but a fun party-style addition to the game. TrackMania Turbo is just excellent. I am determined to get gold on all of these tracks, even if it takes me a million years. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Yeah, I loved it too. This is the epitome of fun. Just be warned because it gets really difficult. I'm giving it 4 as well.
Vroom vroom!
Indeed.
Vroom.
Okay, Darren, it's time to reveal the answer to your challenge.
Affirmative, Hex. At the start of the show, I asked you this. Can you name all 4 Force Awakens characters that you can play in Disney Infinity 3.0? And the answer is... Finn, Poe, Rey, and Kylo Ren.
Oh, I can't wait for Lego Force Awakens. Soon.
Next week on the show, prepare for a pummeling. It's a Pokemon showdown in Pokken Tournament.
Pika-pee.
It's been a while since we played a Wii U game.
Oh, well, I could dust it off with my dust disintegration laser.
No, Darren, no lasers near the consoles.
Yeah, precious gaming hardware, Darren.
Well, until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Banjo out.
Darren out. It's really quite accurate, you know.
Yeah, so's a feather duster. You just, dust the top of it and it's fine.
Darren, lasers don't solve all the problems in the world.
That's true.
I disagree. Lasers can solve any problem.